All right, so I'm headed out Hog Pen. Road's behind me. I got a couple of hikers coming behind me. Got a couple ahead of me too. Two ahead of me said they're probably going to stop at Unicoi Gap, which is what I'm shooting for. Camp there. So hopefully I have some company there. Motorcycles headed down the road behind me. Something popping on my pack, probably my spot, but yeah, that's what we're headed down. Up rather. Guy at the trailhead back there said it's a lot of up and down between here and Low Gap, but no water that he could find, so I should be okay on water between here and Low Gap. It's about 4 miles, we'll see. But heading up. Check in with you along the trail. Hiking along some bench cut here. It's a good trail. Not a lot of rock. Was some earlier. These have already started drying out. Part of that may be just, you know, as you hike different sections, the trail subtly changes. So it may be the type of underbrush this is, that it's just gonna start drying sooner. But it's also been 2 weeks, so things kind of change a little fast here in the mountains and really in Georgia. When the leaves start changing, it'll happen fairly quick, though we're still a few weeks away from that. But small changes, I guess. Underbrush, leaves start getting yellow. You can see up through there, some are starting to die. So just different sections, like I said, kind of have a little bit different personality or different character to them. So yeah, but making my way, trying to get to Low Gap. Maybe that'll be a lunch stop, I don't know, we'll see. So I said very little rock. Of course we have rock. Been a little bit off and on, not too bad though. Something on my arm there. Trail for the most part has been pretty smooth. This descent right here, it's a little rocky, a little rooty, but nothing like what we had before on the earlier section. Did smell something back there. I thought maybe there was a bear in the area. Bears kind of have a really distinct smell. It's not really like something dead. It's not really like something that's much alive. It's just a real heavy smell. And I thought, well, maybe there's one around. I talked for a little bit, looked up at some of the bigger trees, see if maybe he had scooted up a tree or something. Didn't see anything, but you know, who knows. May have even been something that was just in that area. May not even have been a bear, but it's kind of a non-distinct smell. It just smells heavy, and that's kind of the way bears are. So anyway, nothing to see, so moving on down the trail. The underbrush is a little thick down here, but not high, so pretty good hiking. Somebody's done some work out here. I'd heard that there was going to be some trail work this weekend. It's the third Saturday. It's when they come out and work. So we may run into some trail work. I would assume that we already would have, but if they were coming from the Hog Pen side, but if they're coming in from the Unicoi side, we probably won't see them. Maybe not at all. Now, if they come up from Unicoi Gap, you know, then maybe we will. So just have to wait and see. But it looks like a little bit of work was done here, but probably not today. It doesn't look like today's work, so who knows. Maybe we'll run into some trail workers. We'll see. Making our way to Low Gap, where we'll probably do lunch. A couple of guys, I just passed a couple of guys. We took a little break together, and they're actually making pretty good time. They're hoping to get to Chattahoochee like me, I think I mentioned earlier, and so maybe I have some company camping there. It's a good chance, or a slight chance, that Christina and Jack will come in tonight and meet me there, but that's a low possibility. Most likely they're going to come in tomorrow morning. So I may double back to the crossroads and hang out for them with them, wait for them there, and then we'll hike out to Unicoi, which will be about 5 miles from that point. So just have to see. Be a good day, good hike tomorrow. Not too bad. 5 miles isn't too bad. So we'll see. It's not going to be very. Shouldn't be very strenuous tomorrow either. So long descent down to Unicoi, which will kind of suck, but no big climb. So these are kind of interesting. They have almost a flower quality to them. It's either a lichen or some type of mushroom, I don't know. Robin, I don't know what they are though. Sure is a world. So hopefully she'll watch this and let us all know. Heading across a ridge top kind of thing. We had a couple of descents and climbs, nothing big, but one of them was long enough to kind of be a little strenuous, but nothing like we had before, so not too bad. Most of the trail, there's been some intermittent rock, little campsite. Most of it's been pretty much like that, so not bad. I may take a break right here. So that's an interesting growth for this tree. If you look up, that is a big, big tree. And, oh, there's a centipede on it too. Big tree that it's been opened up, has some issues, but it's thriving, doing fine. Interior split, parts of it have fallen. Actually, this may actually go back to a whole nother tree here. But interesting how that grew on that one side. So there hasn't been a lot of rock features on this trail really. No exposed rock, etc. Views on exposed rock like some of the other sections. But there's some up here peeking out. A little bit of rock sticking out here. Vegetation is covering most of these hillsides, so you're not seeing views like we saw on the other section between here and Neal's. So somebody's been down in here weed eating, so somebody's come and done some trail work. Looks like a few days ago maybe. So there's been some trail work, clearly. Just past the two guys we've been kind of leapfrogging here. They decided to go ahead and take a break right after I did. And a hiker that just came through told them it's about 0.9 miles to Low Gap. Now the satellite GPS says 0.89 from where I took a break, which was several hundred yards ago, 300, 400, 500 yards ago. About a mile to Low Gap, where I intend to cook some lunch, because the rest of the push is going to be a lot further than what I've done already. So Low Gap, I think it's 4.7 miles. I have to look. I think it's 4.7 miles of trail from the car. So you got to figure Chattahoochee Gap is somewhere around the 10-mile mark, so Low Gap would be about maybe half, a little less than half. So they're trying to get to Chattahoochee Gap and camp as well. So hopefully we all get to camp at Chattahoochee Gap together. I'd like to have some company when I'm camping. Be kind of nice. But I'll probably stop at Jack's Gap and tie off something for Christina and them. Hopefully they are going to be able to make it in the morning and get down here, and got some steps right here. Get down here and hike out with me, so that'd be really nice. And looking forward to that. I brought way too many calories with me, I think. I don't know. We'll see how hungry I get, but I brought a lot of snacks, so it may work out because they may need them when, you know, sometimes you really don't realize how much you really need until you're out here. So I know she's packing them some sandwiches and stuff, and I left them a few snacks, but big new thing for her. I think Jack's done his share of hiking and hunting and stuff, so he kind of knows what he's getting into. Christina not so much, so we'll just have to see. We're actually over here now on the north side of the ridge, northwest side of the ridge, and making our way down some bench cut. You can see where somebody's come through here with a weed eater and done some good work, which is good. I believe there is a maintenance trail at Low Gap that goes out down that way. So that's actually, Hiawatha's probably more that way. But down here, the highway makes a turn kind of north, I think. And there is a way to get down in there to a forest road. And you can follow that back in and pick up a trail that supposedly there's a maintenance trail. So I was reading that can be a bailout for some people. They get to Low Gap and decide they want to bail. They can do it there. Kind of have to look out for it. Apparently it's not real obvious, but I'm sure that's probably on purpose too, as the trail maintainers want to come in and have a place where they can park with equipment, get in here fairly easily without having to hike 6-7 miles in. They can come in, park about a mile away, get in here real quickly, get some maintenance done and get out. So clearly they've come in here, and I'm sure they didn't come all the way from the parking lot that I parked at to get here. I would seriously doubt that. So, because I've already gone about 3 miles, 3.5 miles. I doubt they're hiking in that kind of distance and going further. I mean, they may do that on some of the sections they have to. I'm rambling, you know. Just we'll stop it here for now. Well, we're here. Low Gap Shelter. Low Gap Shelter and Water, which is nice. So just came down this hill. Wasn't bad. And we're gonna work our way back here to the shelter, take a little break, make a little love, get down tonight. No, we're not gonna make a little love and get down tonight. We're gonna take a little break, eat a little lunch, and then hike some more. So let's see what we got. There's a little impromptu campsite. I could see some of this from up on the hillside, believe it or not. It's like, wow, there's a campsite down there. That kind of tipped me off that we might be close to the shelter. So, a big old tree. I like to see big trees. I like big trees, and I cannot lie. So, I had to cut a hole through this tree and people in. This might be a long while. Some of these shelters can be pretty far back. Some of them are close. You just never know. That Woods Hole shelter was way on back in the woods. And we'll be going uphill to get out of here. But lots of impromptu sites, campsites down through here. I guess, yeah, here and here. I guess during the peak of through hiking season, you got a lot of people you got to accommodate. People just kind of find a soft spot in the woods and a clear spot, and they just kind of take it. There's some water coming down here, and this is kind of sucks because then you get people camping up here, and then your water source is downstream from them. And then they're washing stuff in the stream. They're doing this, they're doing that, yada yada. But nobody's in these sites today, so hopefully the water's pretty clean. So here's our shelter. You just kind of splayed out down here. I don't know if those fellows have come down here or not to eat. They took a break right back there, so they may decide not to come down here. But I'm going to take a little break. Somebody left a shirt down here. Jacket or something. I don't know what they consider the water. I don't see a sign for the water. But there's a couple of creeks around here, so there's Privy that way. Usually there's a sign for water, so we'll see what we can find. Not a bad little shelter. Pretty good. So yeah, I just got through cooking up my ramen, which is in there steeping. And I just packed up my pot. I brought up a thing of water. I need to keep flushing it through here because I did something stupid. I cleaned my filter with detergent, which you shouldn't do. You should just use a little bit of bleach. So my water tastes fine until I can get it flushed out. If I can get that flushed out. Rookie mistake. It happens. I drank about half a thing of Gatorade. I'm going to use that bottle for a little bit more water. And once I get everything flushed through, and I'll fill these two up and take those. I'll need those probably through the day. So, and I'll pack all this stuff back up, head up the trail, and make my way up. I thought I heard the other two guys walking on by. They may not come down here. They may have made their lunch back there, and they're just going to continue. So I'm sure I'll run into them again. We'll see. Nothing else at camp, hopefully. So yeah, I didn't make the Packit gourmet meal. I'll make that this evening. I don't know if I might have the bacon burrito or if I might have the Texas State Fair chili. So I got important decisions to make between here and there. But looking forward to that. So I got a ton of calories in here. I got more food than I'll possibly eat. Anyway, filter water, let that steep, and then pack up and head on out. Leaving Low Gap Shelter. It's been about an hour here with lunch and everything. Getting that taste out of my filter, which was my fault. But one of the guys that I've been leapfrogging with came down to use the privy. On his way out, he said, yeah, he said he saw a bear out on the trail earlier between him and me. He was they're probably at least a quarter mile back, but he said at some point it got between us. He said there it was on the trail, it took off. So came that close to seeing one apparently. I thought I'd smelt one earlier. Just had this smell, but I think it was earlier than when he saw that bear. So yeah, one was in the vicinity. So we're starting the big part of the day now. We make our way to Chattahoochee Gap. I'm working my way to Jack's Gap so I can leave a sign for Christina and Jack. And then yeah, hopefully we all make it there and can camp together. So that's the plan. Keep moving. So here's an interesting feature. Clearly reinforced for the water to come down. It got damaged at some point. Could have been a tree or something. Branch maybe, I don't know. But it took a lot of work. Took a lot of work to put that much, put that many rocks in here to reinforce this. The trail's been around for 80 some odd years, so yeah. There's a view looking back. Just to reinforce this side, coming up that way was a real steep, you can see how steep that slope is, and it went down for a long way too. This area is an old, kind of an old roadbed, so it reminds me a lot of Bear Hair and Bull Mountain. some rock in the bed and dry. There was a cascading fall back there, just trickling, but nice to know there's another water source if you needed it. But yeah, this reminds me a lot of bear hair. Even just the trail makeup, very, very similar. Steep side slope and all that. So, yeah. I'm probably a good quarter to half a mile behind that guy. He's probably double timing it to get up with his friend. So I heard some other people on the trail between us when I was down eating. So there's people out here. We'll see if we catch up to any of them. I'm kind of on the slow side, so I don't know if I'm going to catch anybody until they stop. We'll see. Alright, about 2 miles, a little over 2 miles from Jack's. That's kind of as a crow flies, so probably closer to 2.5. It's about 3:45. Going through this nice shady tunnel. We went through a tunnel earlier, foliage tunnel. It's pretty thick. This one's not quite as crowded in, but you can see what a steep slope this is on the side. I mean, that's almost straight. In fact, there's like a drop part the way down right there. Pretty steep. There's some rock over here on the side. So yeah, it's a pretty steep slope right through here. Might even be a cliff face underneath me somewhere down there, because it's pretty steep. Rocks, some slides. There's some water coming out of the side here. I still got to flush mine some more after that debacle, so I'll be doing that later. But you can see, it looks like something went traipsing up in there. I don't know if it was human or what, but something went up in there to get some water. Oh yeah, you can see right here where the water really starts to run. It probably just cascades down there in a good storm. Very steep. This is very different than the earlier parts of the trail. Very, very different. A lot of rock in the trail, which that's been off and on, but you can see this huge stone beside me. Definitely different landscape in many respects than what we had earlier. Definitely different. Starting to flatten a little bit, or not be quite so steep. It's not really flattening, but relatively speaking, starting to get a more of a side slope instead of a drop here. More water seeping down the hillside, and there's a pretty close ridge over there. I don't know if this is going to snake around to that or what. So this is a rhododendron tunnel. These are rhododendrons. Obviously we're going to clear out here. Must have been some trees that came down, or we're at some kind of a summit, I don't know. This rhododendron tunnel. It's nice and cool under here for the most part. Just had a hiker go running by, about 5-10 minutes ago. First person I've seen in a couple of hours. I've come to a few places where some makeshift camps were. Figured I'd see the two guys I was leapfrogging, but they're moving on pretty good, staying ahead of me. Of course, I took a long time there at the shelter, and I took a break since then. So he was about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes ahead of me, leaving out the shelter. But I hear voices, so must be getting close to somebody taking a break here. But yeah, rhododendron tunnel. Let's try this again. We're at Jack's Gap. Got a hammock here. Got 3 tents. Met up with these guys I'm hiking with for a little while. Nice enough to pump some water because they got word back at the last water stop and there was nothing till we got here. And what's here is down that hill, and these guys have already said it's really not worth the hike down there. So.
Did they say that?
And what? Yeah, that's what he said. He said, "Yeah, no, it's not worth the trip." So.
Ago, but yeah, it was kind of pitiful. Like, you mean,
long way to go down for water.
That thing's cool. Yeah, if you just hold it like that and just tap it right there. I mean, mine is.
Yep. And take their picture, obviously.
Yeah, everybody's getting it.
Getting pictures, making memories. They're hiking out in the morning when I hike out in the morning, so I'm gonna wait here for Christina and Jack, and then get out. So, gonna make some dinner, get to bed. This is the Biggin Burrito, which in my case is 2 slightly less than Biggin burritos, but very good. And one of the great things about coming out here in nature, getting away from all the gadgets and stuff, life, all the stress. Hey. We're all on our phone in one form or another. So we're all done with dinner, getting ready to hang our bear bags, but look at this sunset that we got going on. It's probably gonna get a bad lens flare here, but yeah, it's really nice. Coming in here, lighting everything up. It's gonna be great. Everybody's finishing their dinner up. Whoever built this campfire spot was brilliant, because we figured out when we were sitting here, the only thing holding up that dead tree are these 3 little tiny trees. Of course, I was sitting right there. Yeah, must have been a Auburn grad. We have at least one Auburn grad here, so. Making friends, man, making friends. So here we are this morning, and these guys don't play around. They're up before dark. Well, before sunrise. Taking their tents down. Time for some breakfast. Okay, so what they did, which was kind of cool, is they brought these water jugs. Of course, there's 4 of them, so they can pass it back and forth. Though mainly they just made Mike carry it. So he kind of deduced by the fact that he was so much farther ahead than the rest of us that he was the pack mule. So
he makes a good one too.
So we've got Lloyd, Perry, Mike, and Jeff. Jeff's a mortician, so you know I kind of keep my distance. He's always checking my pulse. You feeling all right, Joe? I'm like, I'm feeling fine, man.
About witness protection, didn't you?
Yeah.
You don't have to confiscate.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
How about black my face out?
we'll do that. We'll pixelate his face. You know, the feds might be looking for him. The undercover mortician.
He didn't try to say you plot, did he?
No, he kept trying to get me to carry a bunch of stuff, just hoping I guess I'd throw a clot. You'd have a customer right quick.
Whoever Dad and Greer called me.
You're the first, after I die, you're the first person I'm calling. Christina and Jack are already on the trail, so that's actually good. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're young, they'll probably be here in an hour, 20 minutes.
Yeah, how long it takes, it may depend on her. So, are we there yet? I think I chipped a nail. You're probably going to chip several, honey. So everybody's gone, picked up. Folks were camping back there, left out this morning. We just had a couple of hikers come through. They're on their way to Springer. They've taken the whole week to do it, so they've got plenty of time. Giving them some tips on what I knew about the sections behind. They started at Unicoi, and so they let us know there's nothing too bad between here and Unicoi. This is the trail that goes out to the bottom of Brasstown. This is Jack's Gap Trail. So this is where my daughter and her boyfriend will be coming down. So they said they were on the trail this morning already, so I'm expecting them anytime. I can see up the trail a good ways, so I should see them long before they get here. I should see them. I could probably see 1/8 of a mile up that trail, so I should be able to see them. So just hanging out, waiting for them. I've had my coffee, had my breakfast, had some pep tats for breakfast. Didn't cook. The guys that were here were carrying jugs of water, which turned out to be a good thing because apparently there's not a lot of water along through here. The water source that's down there is the source of the Chattahoochee River. Is very, very small. So they were kind enough to top off my water bottle for me. And that's really not a bad way to do it if you know you're in a situation like that, because then if you've got a couple of guys that can just pass that jug back and forth, that's probably not a bad idea, especially if you're going to camp somewhere that doesn't necessarily have a good water source. Fill that up before your camp, and then at least you've got some water there. So you can talk about how heavy that must be, but on the other hand, if you got a lot of guys and you can just kind of pass it back and forth as you're hiking and spread the burden out, that's probably not a bad way to do it. So yeah, worked out. They had them both full, and one wasn't completely full, but I mean they had plenty of water, plenty of stuff to cook with, plenty of water left over to cook breakfast with, and topped off one of my bottles. So I really appreciate it. A bunch of really good guys from South Carolina, one of them from Florida. They come up here, I guess, every year, and really good guys. I was really glad to have fallen in with them and gotten to camp with them. So now, yeah, we just wait for the youngins to come down that hill. They got about a 2.5 mile hike to get here, and then we've got about a 4 to get out, 4.5. So not too bad. Well, Christina and Jack got lost, so they won't be coming down that trail. They went back to their car. They're going to meet me at Unicoi or backtrack to me at Unicoi. So we'll see. I may see them in Blue Mountain Shelter or something like that. So I'm going to head out and try to catch them. So this section is a little bit more rocky than what we've been seeing. It's kind of in some ways a little bit on the steep side. Now we've got some overcast sky too, and then we're getting here on the dark section of trail shaded areas. So this is a little bit different. Every section just seems to have its own personality, and so this is a little different than what we've been seeing. There's some rock face coming up here on the left. Actually, good sized cliff. It's kind of cool. Some steps. We've had a few steps yesterday coming in like this, so you can see navigating my way through some of this. But yeah, it's like a good sized rock face coming up here. Which being born and raised in Florida, I like seeing rock. I do. I like seeing cliffs and rock. So that's not as big as I thought, but still a little rocky outcropping there. Looks like maybe a cave up there too, or at least a little cavernous area, or it could just be a stump growing out. But yeah, a little rocky area. This is just northeast of Chattahoochee Gap, heading toward Blue Mountain. Hopefully Jack and Christina will be, ooh, almost fell, making their way to me. Hasn't been much like this, but this is what I came up. Now it doesn't look like much from this side. A lot of ledges, and there's more ahead. So climbing up some rock, getting winded. About a mile from Chattahoochee Gap, so heading away. It's nice and cool though. I'll take it. Pretty much everything back to Jats Gap, Chattahoochee Gap is going to be like this. There's off and on. It's not constant, but it's off and on rock gardens, and fairly treacherous. So you're going to want to be aware of that. We just passed a water source back there. A couple of water sources back there. One had some camping area. You'll see that in the AWOL book. But yeah, this rock is interspersed, and some of it's loose, and some of it's pretty treacherous. So you have to watch it through here. But making our way to Blue Mountain. Hopefully that's where Jack and Christina will meet me. So try it again. But on our way. So about the time I said that, we got some nice smooth trail. This is a nice open area, some camping, and yeah, actually opened up into some pretty decent trail. Going up, but it's dirt, so it's not quite as bad. Should be getting pretty close to Blue Mountain Shelter though. Big trees, which means old growth, obviously, which is nice. All right, we're here at Blue Mountain. Thanks, the trail's just literally right over there. Got some folks over here set up. I hiked in with these two fellas, and we were glad this was here. That's a rocky, lot of rock gardens up between here and Jack's Gap. Some smooth, but mostly rock gardens. And I thought maybe my daughter and them would be here, but I got a feeling when they saw the hill coming up here, they probably say, "Yeah, we're fine where we are. Nothing says we got to go up that hill." So clearly they didn't. But anyway, rest here, have a few more snacks, and then head down the hill, and then go find a restaurant with either a burger or barbecue or something. Something they didn't have to add water to. You may not be able to see him, but right on the end of that log, that knuckle going up, there's a little chipmunk. And I hear what sounds like turkeys. Been hearing them throughout this trip. One up ahead of me, and there's one right out there somewhere. Hear them chirping. One out here too. But just left the Blue Mountain Shelter and making my way down. So this is going to be a long descent. I think it's about 1,100 feet down to the parking lot. So, oh yeah, that's going to be fun. So, as bad as the climbs are, the descents can be a lot worse. So, been signs of a lot of trail work for the last mile or so. They apparently were out here yesterday, and I saw online where guys said they were going to be out. So, they've done some spooning and trenching. But yeah, there's a flat coming up, and then I think it's pretty much, we're going to start dipping down. So, thought I heard something rustling. I think there's some turkeys around. Hear them rustling about. But yeah, more rock. Been a lot of rock gardens off and on. Kind of unexpected. I mean, a lot of them between here and Jack's Gap. Totally different terrain between there, here and there, and then there and Low Gap and that area. So yeah, this will probably be our last little saddle right here before heading down. The guys behind me are a little worried about water, so I told them I'd leave a jug, because I know I got a jug in the car, assuming there's some in there. I'll leave some for them. Well, I saw my first bear. It's a little guy, so I'm a little nervous if he was just little or if it was a cub. There he is. Don't know if you can see him. Get down here a little closer. There he is. Right there. He looks small. It could be a cub. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep my eyes peeled. Bears down here are kind of small, so that just may be how big he is. I'll keep the camera trained that way. Might get a better shot of him. So I saw a double blaze coming down. I don't know what that was about, but just descended Unicoi. Some notes about this section. When you leave Blue Mountain, you actually go through about 3 saddles, so you'll actually go down and up a little bit, and you'll kind of think, why am I going up? Because it's not real obvious from the profile that you would do that at all. And then the descent is very gradual in parts, long sections, I say fairly gradual, not nearly as steep as you think, but then it has some steep sections later, some switchbacks, some rocky descents, interspersed with trail like you see right there. So yeah, not nearly as strenuous coming down here as like coming off of Blood Mountain, but it's a long descent. Saw a bear, which you saw in the previous clip. But yeah, Hog Pen's 14, low gap's 9.6. Should have a car in this parking lot, so Jack and Christina are waiting here for me. Looks like there's quite a number of cars here actually. So yeah, we'll hike this out. Alrighty, that's a few feet of trail. Legs kind of hurt a good bit. There's my car. There's Christina and Jack. I'm gonna look both ways here, lest I get run over. Made it. What a mess. I can hear some guys, I think, coming down off the mountain. Maybe it's those guys were behind me, I don't know. Wore out. Glad to be here.